Hello, so we're on the 15th of March 2020, and today I'm just going to be talking a little bit more about current events. So, I've just been to get some groceries Sunday morning, and it's certainly far busier at the shop I went to than how it normally would be. So that's certainly something to be considered. Normally, if you go relatively early on a Sunday morning, the shops are not as busy as they appear to be today. So that's something to take into consideration. Now, I've noticed over the last few years, and I'm going to include myself in this because I am going to try my best not to be hypocritical, but I've noticed that people seem to be living in a way that's been very go, 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 go. Okay, and I know to a degree that human behaviour can influence other human behaviour. We know this, but with regards to how the world is now compared to how it was when I was a child, or even in up until my early 20s, maybe even my mid 20s, there is a profound difference. And excuse me, I remember when I was a child, if somebody went to Australia on holiday, it was like, wow, you're going to Australia? You know, someone really wouldn't do that often. If someone was going to New Zealand, wow, to me when I was a child, a holiday which I loved was a trip to somewhere in the UK, Devon, about 6 or 7 hours drive from here in Essex. Or people used to go to Clacton-on-Sea on holiday, Yarmouth, Blackpool, the Cotswolds, somewhere here in the UK. And yes, I do know that people still do that, but all this travel that we are doing, is all of it necessary? Now, again, I am not going to be hypocritical here and say that I don't do it, because I've been to Southeast Asia 4 times in my mid-20s, and the last time I went was just over 5 years ago, and I've done it. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I learnt so many things, and it helped to really put into me my love and enjoyment for growing exotic and tropical plants here in the UK. Plants that do not necessarily, or definitely in fact in most cases, such as bananas, coffee plants that I saw in Southeast Asia that just are not adapted to the climate here. Why would they be? You get me? So, do we need to just simplify things a little bit in order to just appreciate the simpler things in life which are so beautiful, and the huge advantages we can get from this? Now, I know that people want to see the world, and that's understandable, but maybe we need to do this sort of thing to a lesser degree. And again, I mentioned this in the video the other day, that talking to the older generation, ideally people that are probably, I would say, 70, 75 plus, ideally 80 plus, people that saw the Second World War, whether from actually being in it, but they would be well over 80, wouldn't they? 39 to 40, years 39 to 45, the war, and or were a child during the war. So let's say they were 10 when the war broke out. That would have made them born in the year 1929. So that would make them, a senior citizen, definitely. But these people can teach us so many things, because the Dig for Victory campaign, when people were digging up their flower beds to grow their own fruit and vegetables, the what I get the impression of when I talk to some of these people is the unity, the forced unity. And could we maybe bring some of that back in, you know? Now, this is not a preachy video, because what I'm saying here is as relevant to me as it is to many other people. And to a degree at the moment, I'm trying to surround myself with peace and love. And now I know that might sound a bit hippie mumbo jumbo stuff, but it really isn't, because peace and love can be a medicine in itself. Laughter, you know, I remember I was talking to a lady a little while ago, and she's probably 80, mid-80s, and she was telling me when she went to stay with her grandmother, or where she was brought up, can't exactly remember, but they had to carry water from a well to the house and then heat it up on, like, I think she said Parkray or a Rayburn or something like that, with wood. You know, whereas now you can just get in the shower, get in the bath, tap, hot tap, whatever, and away you go, you know. And these things made people just slowed a little. It slowed everything, because sometimes slower can be better and more effective, and actually slower is quicker, and it can help one appreciate things that much more. And I just think that if we all just took a moment to just maybe slow down a little bit, think and plan, and adopt what have become, sadly, many of the old-fashioned ways. So, working as a maintenance gardener, I work for people, see people who have got lovely old gardens, right, okay? And granted, big gardens, and without going into this subject, the price of property in big gardens nowadays prohibits many people from either owning or renting a property with a big garden to grow lots of things in. I'm fully aware of this, and as many of you are aware, excuse me, I don't own stacks of land, I don't have a big garden, but I'm very grateful for what I do have. And what I'm aiming to do is to maximise what I've got this year. Now, to a degree, I've been caught up in this rigmarole of faster, okay, which is why my own gardening efforts for the last few years, if you check out some of my earlier videos, when I wasn't sort of in this way, if you will, that so many of us have been caught up in, I was growing a lot more. And you check out, if you wish, you can check out some of my older videos and to see what degree I was doing this to, greater than I am now. But this year, I was planning on working on the garden, growing my own fruit and veg a lot more than last year, and I'm aiming to slowly work back towards how I was before and hopefully exceed where I was before. And this little thing that's going on, I'm not using, I use the term little thing because I don't want to frighten people. And that's not what this video is about, frightening people. It's about what can we do to help ourselves and help one another. And I think one thing we need to do is to just slow everything back, just rein ourselves back a little bit. It may only be temporary for reining ourselves back, but you know, if you've got a garden, if you've got a small garden, if you've got a porchway, if you've only got some windowsills, yeah, I've spoke a lot about windowsill gardening, and if you look on YouTube you will find some great things on there. You know, why not grow yourself something on your windowsill in your small garden? Why not? If you've got 5 or 6 buckets that you can, and some growing medium, and you can go and you can get yourself some seed potatoes, or even save some potatoes from the shop that you buy. You know, why not set some and grow some? Why not start some little Greens. I mentioned komatsuna yesterday, didn't I? Kale, chard, cut and come again vegetables, things that take up a little space but can give so much in the form of food and nutrition and love as well, because the bartering system can be so beautiful. One person has got an excess of kale, the other person's got an excess of cabbages, and you can somehow meet in the middle. Now, I know that I'm speaking in a way that's not necessarily going to be that practical for many people because of busyness, time. Many people don't even know their neighbours now. And I'm aware of this. I'm aware of what has happened. I'm aware of what has happened and what is happening. But relationships, growing closer, talking to one another, these things that have been lost. I remember when I was a kid, the local postman would be like the hub of one of the hubs of the community. He kept his eye out for people. If anything untoward was happening, he may notice that and could help to prevent things or shed information on things. You get me? But now you see people, not just postmen, but you see people walking along the road with headphones in, which again I'm not having an issue with. I really don't, because we all do it. I've done it, walking along with like a smartphone, staring at your smartphone, looking at the screen. We've all done it, me included. I nearly walked into a lamppost a little while ago doing that. So, but all I'm just saying is, if we can just relax, calm down, do what we can, speak to some older people and learn from them, people that had endured hardship in many ways compared to how life is now. Okay, many would argue that things are harder now than they were back during these other times I'm speaking of, and in many ways they are, because the standard now of what people expect is so high compared to how it once was. I remember I was talking to another chap the other day, and he's in his 90s, and he said to me, when he was a boy, people were happy just to have a job, just to have a job, to know that you've got a bit of dough coming in so you can feed your family and keep a roof over your head, hand to mouth stuff. And of course there are, hand to mouth is a factor now, but really, I hope everybody out there is doing well. I'm going to be surrounding myself with peaceful things, a lot of guitar playing at the moment, a lot of gardening, and just spreading love, understanding, and hopefully we'll be okay. So, love to you all. Going to get back and do some gardening, and if you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe, and if you wish you can check me out on Dan_Home Gardens on Instagram if you're interested. See you next time.